Good morning, good morning. We have a bit of sunshine today so far, so that's good. And welcome to our Wellbeing at Home session event, online event. I recognize a lot of names, so I think most of you have been with us before. If you haven't been with us before, I'd like to welcome you. And we do these events maybe once or twice a month now, where we bring in experts to talk about all things well-being. And it's really, I do them, we do them for free, and I really do them to just help empower people kind of get the knowledge and information to take care of themselves, because without that information and knowledge, we can't really do that. And in this country, we have a very reactive approach to health, or we have had done in the past, where we kind of not really big into preventative health, but we go and use our NHS when we're sick. But I think our mission is very much to help people stay well, so we don't need to do that as much. So I'm really happy that you've all joined. And today we are welcoming back Kate Henley. Kate Henley has been with us a few times now on Wellbeing at Home, and she's an expert on all things traditional Chinese medicine, which is a very old and wise health system, which we'll talk about briefly with Kate. But Kate's been with us, and we've talked about traditional Chinese medicine, and we've talked about nutrition with a TCM perspective, and how to eat seasonally using traditional Chinese medicine principles. And those videos are actually recorded. They're really, really interesting. I suggest you go look at them. They're on our YouTube channel on Wellbeing Escapes, and they are also under the Wellbeing at Home website. You can log in there and you'll find them there. So I would really suggest and recommend that you watch those if you are interested in nutrition and traditional Chinese medicine, because they're very interesting. But Kate, welcome.
Thank you,
It's
Stella.
so nice to see you. Thank you for joining us again, and sharing your wisdom. You have so much wisdom, don't you? Because you've been in this field for many, many years, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm just about to celebrate 25 years in private practice with acupuncture this September, next month. And yes, feels like it's gone by in a flash, but at the same time, it feels like I've experienced many different things. And that's why I'm so keen to share with as wide an audience as possible some of the fruits of the things that I've learned along my path.
Yeah. And we're going to do our exercise today. You said you don't really want to do much more than 35-40 minutes. Explain to us why.
Yeah, I mean, Qigong's a very, very powerful moving practice. And the practice we're going to do today is standing. And for some people, that's a long time. And particularly some of the poses that we're going to hold, the mountain pose, the standing meditation, they're challenging if you haven't done that before. And I find that 30 to 35 minutes is about the optimum time to practice. 15 minutes is what I do every morning, but 35 is a really nice, solid practice where you get to move your whole body and feel both energized and grounded. So you've got this duality going on with Qigong, where you feel that you've got energy because you've taken energy from the earth and sky, but you also feel very grounded at the same time. So for me, that's the optimum time.
But it's a very accessible form of movement, isn't it? I mean, it's accessible to most people, because there's so many other forms of movement that if your fitness levels, you can't do it, or with yoga, or you're inflexible, whatever it may be. A lot of people feel that they can't maybe try different forms of exercise, but I find with Qigong, it's very accessible and open to most people.
Absolutely. And sometimes when I'm teaching, I have people who sit through the whole session, and that's completely okay, because there is a lot of opening that we do and movement that we do that's completely possible to do seated. So whereas I've just said that today we're going to do it standing, if anybody is compromised standing today, then they can sit. That's absolutely fine. And so yes, it's suitable for people with disability, which is quite empowering, because it's so much that's not available to people who can't move in this way. So Qigong is very accessible.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about Qigong so we can find out the benefits and why it is that we should incorporate it really into our daily lives. So tell us, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just one of the 5 modalities in Chinese medicine. So some of you remember, if you heard me talking last time, that there's a kind of, I like to see traditional Chinese medicine like an umbrella. There are 5 different disciplines that are encompassed in the healing modality, if you like, a bit like in Western medicine, we have pharmaceuticals and surgery and various different interventions. In traditional Chinese medicine, we have acupuncture. Obviously, that's my craft, if you like. But underneath that umbrella is also herbal medicine. There is also dietary therapy, which I talked about a little bit last time. There is also Tuina, which is the massage system of the Chinese, which is where you massage down the channels palpating, using your hands. And finally, there's Qigong. But actually, Qigong is not the final piece of the jigsaw, because Qigong was the movement medicine that was first developed. So it's the most important part of their medicine. If they could choose one thing, they would choose Qigong.
Because, really, out of the 5 things? That's so interesting. Tell us why. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because essentially moving the chi is where they believe the healing really lies. A lot of our Western dis-eases, if you like, come from emotional deregulation partly. So there's 2 things, part of what we're eating and how we're feeding ourselves these days that are causing inflammation in the body, for example. That's one kind of method of causing dis-ease. And the other method is emotional deregulation. And that means that all of the 5 emotions that exist in life and that are completely normal and healthy, such as grief, joy, fear, worry, all of those emotions, and anger is the last one, all of those emotions are completely normal and are here to be experienced and transformed. But it's when they get stuck in the body that we start getting an issue. And over long periods of time, stuck emotions cause stagnation. And according to Chinese belief, emotional stuckness leads to dis-ease. Interesting, the word, isn't it? Dis-ease.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so how do we transform stuck emotions? Well, you can do it with a needle. You can. But the best way to do it is by moving the body in a flow way, using Qigong. Yeah. And Qigong is a deep practice where all of the organs are nourished and bathed in fresh blood. And by the way that we work in the practice, it encourages a free flow of chi in the body. So it basically allows your energy to move. Whereas in today's society, we can be very sedentary. We can be stuck. And if we get, an emotion that can't move, like a low mood, for example, we're drawn towards maybe a pharmaceutical to support that, rather than trying to work gently with the body to move the chi. Obviously, sometimes these remedies are completely necessary, but Qigong is a very powerful preventative exercise. And they really believe that motion is lotion.
Motion is lotion.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Moving the body is so powerful. So, in your top 2 or 3 things you've got going on in your life, you've got moving the body, you've got embedding yourself in nature. Stella and I were talking about this a little bit earlier. They're giving yourselves the opportunity to get outside every single day. And sometimes that's helped by having a pet or having a practice that gets you outside. If you can do your Qigong practice outside, well, even better. So Qigong, so gentle movement of the body, connecting with nature. And then the other things are regulating your emotions, drinking water, eating well, and sleeping. So you've got your kind of 6 pillars of health, if you like. But definitely Qigong and outside, being in with nature is completely up there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'll share with everybody. I've had a pretty tough week. I lost my dog this week, and he was very close to me. So I'm going to try and not get shaky when I talk about it. But I was, I've been in this world of wellness for many years, and I could actually observe it, how that grief was sitting in my body, in parts of my body, like my heart got really heavy, and I could feel it all there. And I've been trying to move a little bit and do some shaking to kind of shake it off. And obviously it's an emotion that we have to go through anyway, naturally. But just observing that and thinking, now that you talk about how these like stuck emotions could actually end up causing disease, I can absolutely resonate with that, because you can feel that in your body, if you like. And a lot of people aren't aware of it, like where it sits, but if you ignore it, or you take something to suppress it, you suppress that emotion, you suppress whatever it is that you have, and you stop noticing it in your body, it kind of, as you say, it causes stagnation, and it festers there in your body. And obviously for me, it's very acute this week, so I could feel it very acutely. But, I think a lot of people have maybe other emotions that aren't so acute, and they just kind of layer on top of each other. And so I think Qigong sounds like it's a great way of shifting it from our bodies, moving it along. And it's interesting you say this about the traditional Chinese medicine approach to it. I mean, if you think about a lot of ancient or indigenous forms of healing or treatment, like the shamans, for example, the shamans in Central America and those areas, or even, I guess, in the Aborigine people, and a lot of these kind of old cultures use movement and shaking and movement to, I guess, move that. They kind of knew all along, didn't they? They knew it's very wise, it's very intuitive, but we've forgotten that intuition of what we need to do to keep ourselves well. It's very interesting. So, let's talk about the actual physical benefits of Qigong, because we've talked about the emotional part, which is just moving the emotions and shifting them around. But talk to us about, the physical part.
Sure. And just a last thing on the emotional thing, please don't get stressed out, everybody. If you think, oh my gosh, I'm angry, what am I going to do? I'm going to get ill. Please don't worry. These type of emotions, they have to be stuck in the body for a long time for them to transform into, physical energy. So just be mindful of them. And it's almost enough to notice them. Like Stella's noticing her grief, that is enough, because she's touching that pain. So you don't have to rush off and, do Qigong every day in the park, otherwise, for fear of being ill. But it would be helpful to recognize the emotions as a first stage, if you get me, just as Stella's been talking about a moment ago. Okay, so please don't panic, everybody, but be aware of what's going on. So the physical benefits of Qigong, there's so many of them, it's unbelievable. So I'm only going to pick 2 or 3. But the physical benefits are mostly around immunity. And because of that, longevity by default. So they have worked out that if people practice Qigong on a regular basis, it does something very powerful for the immune system. Now, what does that mean for us in the West? Well, it means that the practices that we do really encourage white blood cell count improvement. So our white blood cells are responsible for our immunity, okay, our T cells and so forth, lymphocytes, and the practice of Qigong really improves that. So that's something that I can just tell you for a fact. People say to me, what can I do to improve my immunity? Well, number one is rest. And number two, practice Qigong. Okay, so that's the first thing it does. It improves your immunity. Everybody says, well, I'm completely healthy and fine, I don't need to practice. Well, preventative medicine is something that I'm a big fan of, by the way. So preventing, supporting your immunity is the top thing. Secondly, it's very, very good for, I've told you, emotional regulation, which is also important. But thirdly, they're doing studies into things like how Qigong is really powerful for high blood pressure. Okay, so it's really powerful for all diseases of things that come up in the body and the head. So it's things like migraine and headache, high blood pressure, stiff neck and shoulders, where the energy rises in the body. And that's usually in Chinese medicine to do with anger or frustration. So it's very good for quietening the body. It's very good for quietening the nervous system. So anybody who needs quietening of the nervous system, listen up, because Qigong is incredibly powerful. Okay, so I don't want to give you too many facts because that's too much. So immunity, emotional regulation, and quietening the nervous system. Okay, so that's blood pressure, stress, anything where you are up here instead of in your body. Because essentially, what is Qigong? It's a moving meditation. That's what it is. You're moving your body, and I've explained that motion is lotion for lots of reasons, but it's a meditation. So you're present when you're doing it. Okay, moving meditation is what it really is. And finally, and staggeringly, they're even doing research into doing Qigong and cancer. They are now thinking that they are wanting to support people doing Qigong practice who are suffering with cancer. And for me, that's really beginning to come into a great zone for Eastern practices, to recognize that emotional deregulation, frustration and anger and so forth in the body causes serious diseases, and that doing Qigong quietens the nervous system and the immunity, and what a powerful effect that has when you've got cancer. Because don't forget, the treatment for cancer wipes out your immunity. So it's a very powerful tonic. So I hope I've given you a little taste.
Wow, yeah. I mean, that's really interesting about the treatment for cancer as a form of relief, I guess, for people who are going through cancer. Because I guess it makes sense, doesn't it? If you're going through that powerful treatment and you're emotionally probably drained and there's a lot of fear going on.
Yeah.
So you do need something like this to help you be in a position that you can possibly heal better, because, when we're sick, our immunity drops because we're scared and we're fearful. So all of that's wonderful. Tell us, what's the difference between Tai Chi and Qigong?
Yeah, so Tai Chi is the martial arts based practice. So that started off with a combat nature. So it's movement around combat originally. And Qigong means literally energy work. So it means moving your energy. So they've got different roots, but they look similar. And I think both of them are really good. I think both of them are good for your health. But I like Qigong because I find it a little bit deeper and a little bit more nourishing for the organs. A bit more like a medicine in a way for me. And Tai Chi, I find it a little bit more, I guess, yoga-like in a way, where you're practicing your strength, and you are sort of, using some muscles and so forth. And Elodie's just written, Qigong is a pillar of Tai Chi. Absolutely, yes. So it comes under that whole bracket of it. But for me, Tai Chi is more of a martial more of a working practice.
And the difference between Qigong and something like yoga is you're saying it's much more energetic, whereas yoga is energetic, to be clear, but it is much more physical, I guess, in terms of, as you're saying, using strength and
Yeah, I think
flexibility.
so. I think for me, yoga is about strength, and it depends what type of yoga you're doing, obviously, because there's so many different types, aren't there?
Yeah, that's true.
There's energetic types and quiet types, and a lot of them are designed onto moving the chi as well, similar to Qigong. But for me, it's a deeper practice. Qigong, it's softer, deeper, which means you're working on your immunity and on your emotional health. You do work on your emotional health in yoga because you practice breath work. But for me, it's more about supporting the muscles and the tendons and the ligaments, and it's more of a strengthening practice, whereas Qigong is more of an internal practice.
Internal. Okay. Okay. Well, should we do some?
Yeah.
We're gonna give you a couple of minutes to go and prepare.
Yeah, so
and I know, yeah. Sorry,
turn my screen and move my dog.
Yeah, Kate's dog barks whenever she does Qigong, so he has to go into another space. Oh, actually, Lisa asked a good question here about the chakras. Are the chakras the same as the energy points in Chinese medicine? Like, you have the different chakras in.
Yeah, the chakra system overlaps with the Chinese medicine system in some ways, but not always. So it's really difficult to talk about that really briefly. But the chakras, obviously, there are, I think, 7. Somebody's going to need to correct me here. It's completely different.
Well, they're the ones we talk about, but there's many, many, many chakras. Okay. They're just the ones that have kind of been publicized, so to speak. There are hundreds of chakras, chakra points, but we talk about the ones that go up the spine, which is, yes, I believe it's 7. 1, 2, yeah, 7, correct, yeah.
And the last one's up here in the third eye, isn't it?
Well, it's the crown.
Oh,
the
it's
crown.
the crown.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. You can see what I'm into.
Yeah. It does overlap, is the answer to the question, but it's not exactly the same model.
Yeah, but it is around energy points and different points. I think there's points in your body that there is energy or chi, or in those areas that could be blocked or open. So I think the principle is similar, but the technicalities of it, I don't know, but
sure. So there's a central meridian that comes down through the body, and that passes through all the points on the chakra system. There's a point here, which is on the third eye, which is yin tang. There's a point on the top of the head, which is governor vessel 20. And so there's lots of points down the central meridian, and we activate these when we're doing Qigong, basically.
Yeah.
So just about the practice, just basically what we're going to do is you'll notice that we kind of raise the yang so it gets energetic, and then the second part of the practice we will calm down and get more quietening for the nervous system. And there'll be some standing in the middle where we play with the chi ball, and that's just really about trying to find your own chi, which is stage 1 of Qigong, is finding your own chi. Noticing, you notice your own chi anyway, because you notice when you're tired or hungry or upset or whatever, but it's about feeling your chi. So we do a section in the middle where we do some work with the ball, and that's your opportunity to see if you can actually feel your own energy, and it doesn't matter if you don't. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so 30 minutes. I'm going to take 2 minutes just to get my pet arrangement sorted out, and I shall be right back with you.
Okay, so great. Thank you.
Find a nice space, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, we'll do that. Has everyone here done Qigong before, or is it new to anyone? Oh yeah, France, like Jackie and Jen. Yeah. Has anyone not done it before? No. Nobody wants to tell me if they haven't. So that's okay. Okay, well, we'll just wait for Kate to come back, and then we can do that. So has anyone practiced Qigong regularly? Oh, Wendy, thank you. Oh, Jackie, do you really? Very good. Okay, very good. And Jim does. Okay, very good. And oh, Elodie, yes, of course. Thank you for joining us, Elodie. Elodie teaches Qigong, so yes, I hope you do practice it every day. I've been taught by Elodie. She's very good. Okay. Okay, I think Kate's getting ready here. Oh, Jane, you teach Tai Chi. Wow. And your Yorkie's called Tai. I love it. How cool is that? Okay. Right, I'm going to mute myself now and move over. So I'm handing it over to you, Kate. You're on mute, by the way, Kate.
Thank you. Thanks, Stella. So I'm just going to now check that you can all... I was going to stand outside, but I think it's not warm enough. And you can't see my whole self, so let me have you just here. Okay. So, if everybody could find themselves a nice space where you can move your arms completely round without fear of any obstruction. So literally all the way around, that's fantastic. Okay, so in Qigong, we start off by making sure that we have a good standing posture. So I want you to take a look down at your feet and have your feet shoulder width apart and just soften the knees. So soften the knees off, bounce up and down so that you can feel that they're nice and loose. And then tuck your pelvis under. So just tuck it under slightly. Release your shoulders by just coming back a couple of times. And then just have your hands just loosely by your sides. And then just feel that you've got something drawing up your head above you. Tuck the chin in slightly. Put your gaze to something just ahead of you. And then just feel this pull up through the crown and rooting down through your feet. And we're going to start off by just literally taking 3 or 4 breaths in this standing posture where we feel pulled up to the heavens and rooted down through the earth. So if you just want to close your eyes for a moment and we're going to take 3 or 4 breaths here. So that's in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. And then the next time I want you to just visualize being pulled up by your crown and rooting down through your feet so that you've got this polarity between reaching up to the heavens and rooting down to the earth. Feel that stretch in your body through the spine as you breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And now just visualize your feet growing some roots into the ground. So just visualize an oak tree, for example, with the roots reaching down, spreading through into the earth. Feel that real solid feeling of the earth beneath you. So 2 more breaths here as you feel this connection with the heavens and the earth. And just open the eyes gently if you've had them closed. Come back into the room. And quite often the first thing I do in Qigong when I've felt that groundedness is I do a little bit of shaking so that I can expel energy that has collected. So just start off by shaking the hands and then the whole arms and then the torso and then completely freestyle shaking whichever way you like. Arms up in the air if you like, and really try and move the chin. Have a little dance, do whatever you need. And bring a smile to your face. Smiling is really good at moving the liver chi. And we're going to do it until we feel really quite warm, so another 30 seconds or so. And you might want to make a sigh, so you might want to breathe out. That's it. Really expel that energy. Nobody can hear you. I can't anyway. Move the hips. A lot of emotions are stored in the hips. Really give them a shake. Okay, about another 5 seconds and then you can slow down. Okay. Coming back slowly. And just feel how you feel in your body now that you've moved your chi in this way. It's quite powerful. Okay, second thing we do is we're going to do some gentle swinging. So this is very common as a warm-up. So hips facing the front, soften the knees, and just, yes.
You move back a bit so we can see you.
Yes.
We can only see your upper half.
How am I going to do that?
Maybe pull your computer down, the top of your computer. That's it, a bit more.
Oh, this is...
Okay, yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah,
no head.
It's fine, yeah, because we can see your body now.
Okay, great. So soften the knees, remember I said before, and then just keep the hips facing forwards and swing gently from the waist. Have the hands in a soft fist. And this is called tapping the gate of life, because I want you to tap on your back and tap on your tummy, which is your central energy in Chinese medicine. So you're tapping the back, which is Ming Men, which is your gate of vitality. And you're tapping on the Ren channel in the front of the body, opening both sections. And then you're going to come a little bit higher and you're going to tap on the lungs. This is lung 1 on the body. Tapping on the lungs. And then coming up even higher, tapping on the top of the shoulders, which is a gallbladder point. And that's really good for releasing tension in the upper neck and shoulders. And then coming back to the lungs again, so coming down again. Tapping the middle of the abdomen, and that's the end of the liver channel, liver 14. It's very good for frustration and anger. And then just letting the hands swing loosely by your sides as you turn. So this constricts the blood in the organs of the body, and then it releases fresh blood. So the liver, the spleen, the stomach, they're all bathed in fresh blood. It's very energizing for the body. And just slowly come back to standing. Lovely. And now we're going to open the meridian channels. So we're going to tap down the arm channels and the leg channels. So there's 6 meridians on the arm, 6 on the legs. 6 on the inner, 3 on the inner, 3 on the outer. Same for the legs. So we're going to tap down the arm yin, and we're going to start with the lung channel. So if you just extend one arm out to your side and tap on lung 1, which is just below the collarbone. And as you progress, I want you to come down towards the thumb. So tapping gently but firmly, if you know what I mean, heading towards the thumb, remembering that the lung channel is to do with grief in Chinese medicine and letting go. So if any of you feel that you may have something that you want to let go of, whether it's physical or emotional, really give this some thought when you're tapping. Then I want you to flip the hand over and come back up the other side, which is the paired organ for the lung, which is the large intestine. Come back up and end on the body. The second channel goes down the middle of the arm. So we're heading down the pericardium channel, so tapping down the middle of the arm, heading towards the middle finger. You can pause in the palm and give that a rub. And the pericardium is the heart protector. So it's any issues around the heart is also good for this channel. Into the third finger, flip it over and come back up the other side. Finally, is the heart channel, which starts in the armpit. So just tapping in the armpit, that's heart 1 on the body. And now you're coming down the arm and heading towards the little finger. Give the little finger a little squeeze. So the heart channel is really good for supporting any emotional disorders as well. So excess joy, anxiety, that type of thing. Flip it over and come back the other side. Ending in the armpit. And then just shake that arm out now that you've woken up that meridian. And we're going to do it on the other side. So starting on the lung channel, which is just below the collarbone. Heading down towards the thumb, remember. Coming into the thumb. Flipping it over, coming back the large intestine channel. Onto the body. And secondly, the pericardium. So that's the heart protector. Remember, that goes down the middle. And I like to rub in the palm for that one. Into the third finger. Flip it over and come back up the other side. And finally, the heart channel. So that's under the armpit. Coming down towards the little finger. Giving the little finger a little squeeze. And back up the other side. And shaking out both of the arms now as you've warmed those upper meridians up. So that's the lungs, the large intestine, the pericardium, triple burner, the heart, and the small intestine all warmed up. Now we're going to do the lower legs. So we're going to turn around and we're going to start with the kidneys on the back. So pummeling into your lower back where the kidneys are. And you can give them a rub first of all. That brings the chi really beautifully into the kidneys, and then just give them a gentle pummel. And then you're going to come down the back of the legs, which is actually the bladder channel. So down the back of the legs as far down to the ankles. And then when you get to the ankles, you come round back up the inside, which is the kidney channel. Pummeling the kidney channel. Back up to the body, pausing in the groin there. And then the second channel goes down the side of the legs, down the IT band, which is the gallbladder channel. So pummeling down there. And then coming back up the inside, this time it's the corresponding liver channel. They've all got their own partners, which is perfect. So coming up the liver channel, this time really pummeling to the groin, because the liver channel circles through the groin. It's really good at releasing frustration. The liver is all about anger, frustration, resentment. So that's a really good area to work. And then finally coming down the front of the thighs, down the quadriceps, which is the stomach channel. Pausing just below the knee on this point here, which is stomach 36, which is one of the most powerful points in the body, which is just below the outer knee. This is the point for the immunity in Chinese medicine. We needle it a lot in clinic. We use moxibustion on it, so give that a really good pummel. as you're coming down. Very powerful. And then as you get to the ankles, coming back up again the inside, which is the spleen, that nourishes the digestion. Okay, wonderful. And back to center. And just shake the legs out. Perfect. And now we're going to warm up the organs of the internal middle dantian, it's called, the middle section of the body. So we're going to just tap lightly on the right, which is the liver. You can either use your fingertips or you can use the ends, flat or pointed, doesn't matter. This is a great exercise to do in the morning before you have your breakfast because it's really good for improving digestion. And then the middle, the stomach energy. And then the spleen. And then to warm up the digestion, I want you to have one hand on top of the other, and I want you to come across your chest and down this left side, which is the descending colon, across the lower tummy, up the ascending, and across. So we're going to be doing this clockwise motion. It's really good at moving the chi in the intestines. So it's fantastic for constipation. It's fantastic for any stuck peristalsis in the body. Conversely, the other way around has the opposite effect. So this is really good at moving the chi in the intestines. So if you do this practice in the morning before you eat, then it's a really powerful digestive tonic, if you like. Don't need to be hard, just follow the general energy of the intestines. Lovely. And then I want you tapping just on the thymus gland, which is on the front of the chest, coming up here to the thyroid, and then just massaging the thyroid with both hands. Thyroid is an important regulatory gland, regulates the hormones, metabolism, blood pressure. It's a really powerful piece of kit in the body, and it goes completely out of whack when we get hit emotionally. So just supporting the thyroid there. And then just tapping on the face. And pulling down the ears. Opening the jaw. Moving the jaw. And then the eyes, I'd like you to just move the eyes. So if you take both the eyes and look top right and then bottom left. Top right, bottom left. Keep the head still as you move the eyes. We don't often move our eyes we're looking at our computers all day. And then top left, bottom right. So just really give them a movement. And then big circles with the eyes, 2 or 3 one way, 2 or 3 the other way. This is very good for tired eyes. If you need to stop when you're driving and do this, obviously not when you're driving, but really good for just refreshing the eyes and then rubbing the hands together and just placing them over the eyes to give them a little rest. Lovely. And then just pulling down the ears. We often forget the ears. Ears are our sense organ that opens the kidneys. Often we start getting bad hearing when we get older because our kidneys are declining, but giving energy to the ears is really important, powerful sense organ. Wonderful. Okay, so when we're all warmed up in the body, we're now going to open the chest. So stand with your hands in a T shape, and we're going to bend the knees and put our right hand forward and our back hand down. So we're going to, it's almost like tossing a ball. And this really opens up the chest. And it can be very energetic. So just swinging through by bending your knees. And keeping this going so that you really open the chest. And gently slowing that down. And really feeling the stretch on the upper body here. It's lovely, this first one. And then rolling back the shoulders, where we hold a lot of tension. Coming forward with the shoulders. And then a couple of shrugs. Lovely. Now we're going to stretch the side body, often neglected. So reaching up with one hand, reaching over as far as you can stretch. This opens up the whole of the gallbladder channel, which is connected to the liver in Chinese medicine, over to the other side. And the liver is the organ that relates to frustration and anger. It's really good at opening up the chest, moving emotions. So 2 more, 1 to each side. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay, so the body should now feel quite energized. We're going to pick up chi from the ground and pass the heavens and bring it through our body now. So feet shoulder width apart, soften the knees, remember, tuck under the pelvis, and we're going to inhale and pick up chi from the ground. So inhale, reach forward and scoop up energy from the ground, bring it up and over your head, and down through the body, like an X-ray. Inhale, pick up energy from the ground. Bring it up, take a look over your head, and bring it down through the body softly. Two more of those, inhaling, picking up. Bringing it up and over the head, and down through the body. Last time. Inhale, pick up. Picking the chi up and looking up above the head, bringing it down through the body. Wonderful. Now I want you to pause and just put your hands below your belly, the right hand first, the left on top. And that's the point, the Ren 4 point, where all our powerhouse energy is stored. And I just want you to close your eyes and take 2 or 3 breaths here and feel the energy that has been rising in you. So inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Lovely. Now we're going to open the lung energy, which supports grief and loss. So that's a very simple movement that can be practiced every day if you feel like you're going through a period of time where things are challenging for you in a loss way. Hands just on your thighs, just resting gently. And on the inhale, we're going to raise the hands. On the exhale, we're going to turn them to face and we're going to open wide. So opening the lungs here. Inhaling, coming back. Exhaling, coming down. This is a lung supporting exercise. So inhaling, raising the hands. Exhaling to open. Inhaling to come back. Exhaling to come down. Last time, inhaling to come up. Exhaling to open. Inhaling to come back. Exhaling to come down. Lovely. Now we're going to work on the spleen energy. So we're going to have our hands in a diamond shape, put the diamond shape on our abdomen. And then as we inhale, we're going to bring the hands over and up and above our heads. We're going to look up and twist the diamond so that we can see through it. And then we're going to turn to the right. Keep looking through the diamond as you feel the stretch down the side of the body. That is the spleen channel. Release and come back to center and now head towards the left. Keeping looking up if you can. Releasing, coming round to look at the right again. And finally coming back towards the left. This is opening the whole of the spleen channel, which ends on the side of the torso at spleen 21. To really feel that stretch under the side of the rib cage. One more time to each side. And back to the other. When you're ready to come back to center, on the exhale, bring the diamond back to the lower abdomen. And just rest with it below the navel. Take a breath here to balance. And exhale. Lovely. And we're going to work on the liver now before we quieten down. So the liver is the middle part of the body. So this time we're going to have our hands in fists and we're going to literally make the sound of the liver, which is shh. And we're going to do this. Shh, 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 shh. So keep going with this movement and with a sound which really transforms chi in the liver. Shh, 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 shh. Keep going. Very transformative exercise. Shh, 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 shh. 3 or 4 more. Shh, 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 shh. And arms down. Resting with a hand on the lower tummy and just taking 2 balancing breaths here. We've opened the lungs, we've supported the spleen, and we've moved the liver energy. And the final 2 organs I like to support are the kidneys and the heart, but I just do that by resting my hands on these organs. So rub together and start off by just resting your hands on your kidneys. Really feel the warmth that transmits through to this deep organ in the body. And finally onto the heart, so rub the hands together again. And just place your hands on your heart, somewhere where it feels right for you, either above the breast, below the breast, just where it feels right for you. Then just close the eyes and take a breath there. Okay, so we're going to do some standing now, which is where we quieten down the energy. So feet, look down towards the feet, bend the knees, tuck under the pelvis, and just raise the arms so that the hands are facing you. And I just want you to spend a minute or 2 just feeling your own energy. So just close your eyes and just for a minute or 2, I'm just going to have some silence whilst you just really widen and narrow the hands and just see if you can feel your own chi. Off you go for a minute or 2 now. And then I'd like you to end by standing in standing meditation. So taking the fingers so that they're pointing, facing each other, soft fingers. And this is called the mountain standing Zanzhuang pose. And I just want you to take a few breaths here. Normally we stand for a few minutes, but just a minute will be fine. Just rooting down through the feet, remember, and pulling up through the crown. So that duality of heaven and earth, rooting down, feeling roots beneath your feet, and then the pull from the crown. It's quite hard on the arms, but this stance is super for the immunity. This is the point that's the position that's really good for the immunity. So if you can practice this daily, you'll be doing yourself many favors. And when you're ready to close, just open the eyes and then gently widen the arms. And then I want you to face them down and float them very slowly back down to your sides. And we're just going to end with the hands in prayer position, where you push into the chest and you're pushing into a very powerful point in the middle of the breast there, REN 17. Push into there with your thumbs. And then finally hook your hands under your chin and push in with your index fingers to your third eye. We were talking about that earlier. Just push into your third eye. And that's very grounding for the body. That's called yin tang, that point. And I would just like to say thank you very much, everybody, for practicing today. And I'm curious to know whether we're feeling energized or whether we're feeling grounded or whether we're feeling both.
Does anybody want to tell us?
What's the verdict, feeling? Everybody?
Yeah.
Energized, grounded, or both? What's the verdict?
Both.
Francois saying both.
Yeah, energized.
Wendy, energized. That's interesting. Both. Oh, great. Yeah, I'm glad about the both, because that's the kind of point of raising the energy and bringing it back down. And I'm hoping that you're feeling that duality, everybody, in that little half an hour practice. Anybody want to say any feedback before we close, or anything they need to add?
You can speak if you would like.
Yeah, please speak.
Yeah.
Jim.
Hi. Hello. Yeah, we do Qigong quite regularly, but what you've been doing this morning is a bit more energetic, actually. Okay. So it's really quite an interesting contrast. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. So thank you.
Did you? Really Thanks, helpful. Jim. Yeah, I'm about moving stuckness in my practice, and so that's what I like to do. I hope you've noticed it, which is interesting. But yeah, thank you for that feedback. Anybody
Thanks
else?
I wanted to say I feel so much better than when I woke up this morning.
Oh,
this is my menopause hot flush device. Anyone who suffers.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing. That's great. If you feel, it's all about how you feel. Don't forget, we literally, your body is the thermostat saying how you feel. And if you feel energized, how about bringing this into a daily practice? How about it? 5 or 10 minutes is enough. Take 2 or 3 snippets from what I've done today. You've got the recording, and just build that in on a daily basis. Yeah, Jane, did you want to say something?
I couldn't quite see with the arms. I do general tapping of the arms, but I couldn't quite see where you were going on the back area. So because I do a bit of tapping with the class beforehand. Okay. No problem. I usually just get them to tap down the yin and up the yang. But that was really interesting with the thumb, the middle finger and the little finger. And I couldn't really see it very well on the on because of how, you know, we're limited when we're trying to do
Yes.
three. And the same with the legs. I do general tapping up and down and on the quads,
Yes.
down the hammies. But I couldn't quite pick up at the same time of where we're working.
Well, if you don't pick them up on the recording, Jane, then you're welcome to email me and I will tell you exactly where they are.
Yeah, because I'm using your cookery book, you know, through the season.
Brilliant.
So I am doing some of the rest. I did the spring and still working through the summer, so I'm looking forward to the autumnal ones now.
Great, wonderful. So email me if you need to know specifically where the channels are.
Yeah, that was quite usul. Yeah,
quite happy for you to do
I'm
that.
moving house, so it will be interesting. I'm going to be needing a that.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you. I mean, I honestly, with Wendy, I saw your note about the grief, your daughter. I'm so sorry to hear that. And yeah, that would be nice. I mean, I noticed it with my grief this morning, just how that opened me, and I felt something release inside, because you can feel grief really deep in here.
Yeah.
And I really felt that. So thank you so much, Kate. I mean, so good. And coming back to your cookery book, I've got to say, I'm really into that pepper and tomato soup with the lentils. It is really cool. I'm into that. And the fish curry, the fish spiciness one.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So I would say that.
Thank you.
So I wanted to just, if anyone's free in 3 weeks' time on a Saturday from today, Kate is running a retreat in Greece and she's got a couple of spaces left. So if you can do something impromptu and you want to do something impromptu, she's doing it in a really beautiful spot, nothing fancy, but in really connecting with nature in a spot called Epidavros in Greece, which is the home of actually where medicine started, where Hippocrates, the teacher of Hippocrates, had his own kind of health center in Greece. I've been there. It's a very special place, very sacred place. You feel the energy there. It's fantastic. So Kate's running a retreat there. She's got a couple of spaces left. It's what dates is it? Kate, remind us again.
Saturday the 16th of September for 1 week, and you will be receiving acupuncture, we'll be teaching Qigong by the sea, 7:30 every morning, and there'll be yoga, meditation, seasonal eating lessons as well.
Yeah, so if you have got, you know, the time and the inclination, let us know and we'll get you booked into that. But if you haven't, that's okay too, because we're going to record this. We've recorded it. We're going to upload it onto the YouTube channel and on here on Wellbeing at Home, and you can watch it as many times as you want and practice and take the bits out of it that you need. So I'm really pleased it helped everybody here. Sending lots of love to everyone.
Yes.
Wishing you a wonderful weekend, bank holiday weekend. And Wendy, have you got any other dates for your retreat? We'll let you know, Wendy.
We'll let you know, Wendy.
Yeah, for next time.
The next one. Yeah.
For next time Kate does a series. So I think next year you're going to plan some.
Yeah.
And we'll let you know. But she's a very caring, lovely lady, as you can tell. So we have her here and she's really lovely.
Thank you, Stella. So lovely, everybody. Keep practicing Qigong.
Yeah, keep going Qigong. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.